You're tuned in to RX Radio.
All right. I mean, to be expected. Stumbling back out of the gate.
But yeah, we're here. We're doing it.
I do see why podcast statistics are the way they are, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you used to say this all the time, especially on the podcast. Like, the average person is an idiot, and 50% of people are dumber than that.
Yeah, it's a George Carlin quote. That's great. Love that. That helps. It helps somehow just get through the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It makes you understand why the world is the way the world is.
Yeah, I mean, I said something on the podcast that got regurgitated a lot, and that was you have to be dumb enough to keep going. And I do think podcasting is actually a really good exemplar of that principle. And this really with telecommunications in general, like how many I'm on, I don't know. On average, I would say I'm on 15 to maybe 20 to 30 Zoom calls a week on average. And I think of that call volume, whether it be me or the person on the receiving end, there is like a technical issue that's like non-human error related that just gets resolved with turn it off and turn it on again.
Yeah.
30-40% of the time, which is insane to think about. Like, we've been on Zoom since COVID, essentially, right? Like, now L1, we were pre-COVID, and I am proud of that. By the way, that is a point of pride.
Ahead of the
Prescript as a digital education platform started teaching online lectures before the start of COVID. It wasn't a pivot. The company did not have to pivot. We were pretty COVID proof going into the thing. Yeah. And anyways, it's just I feel the need whenever I tell the company's story to like really drive home like when we started doing the lectures in relation to 2020, because we were in before. We were COVID proof before. But yeah, it's just it's how many times we do this. So some backstory here. This is our first episode we're recording in a relative recent history. Now, episodes have been, releasing every Wednesday, but we backlogged those episodes prior to starting L3 at the beginning of the year. So this is our first podcast recording of 2026.
That's wild. Shit.
Look at
us. We're so far ahead.
You catch us on either end of if you're listening to an episode, we've either recorded it like within 10 days of its release or months and months in advance, depending on. And here's the point, because I think podcasting is like, can we just say it? I'm going to say it.
Say it.
And I have to give credit where credit is due. I first heard this word used in the public discourse from Stu Locke. So that may narrow down what word I'm about to use.
Ooh, this could go.
We live in it's going to go bad. Like, I got Stu on the intro. It's good. We live in something of a cuck culture. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm just gonna say that. But so I think podcasters are the worst because you don't do anything. The reason we're recording either within a 10-day window or 6 months of it, because we still, and I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if I'm proud of what we are or more proud of what we're not. Like, I think I don't know if I have like the other. Okay, great. I'm glad we're on the same page. But I'm just like, being a podcaster to me, really like identifying as your profession or vocation, I think is problem number one. Like, we just do shit. We're guys doing stuff. Would be if we had to rename the podcast, it would be guys doing stuff. Not guys talking about stuff. Like, talking is not, sure, it's like it's an action, it's a physical action, but it's not doing things. Like, talking to me isn't a verb.
Contextual, I guess. Talking verb or noun.
Yeah, but like even I just don't think it's not an action to me.
Yeah. I mean, I understand like the root of what you're saying. Like, don't talk about it. Be about.
Oh yeah,
it,
no, I'm.
Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And we're we've been
podcasters,
and we eventually circle back and talk about it. That's it.
And I think that's the good story is like, in retrospect.
Yeah.
Like everyone's sitting there trying to like write the story as they live it. And it's like, one, good stories are not usually not written by the people who actually do the event, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't want to go too down a contentious route. But like, look at any religious text. They're not written by the guy,
Yeah.
right? It's people writing. Oh, because the guy was too busy doing the thing.
Yeah.
So at the very least, we go off for large swaths of time, and we actually do the thing that we talk about. And I think that's a point of differentiation. Probably what we're going to talk about today is where the fuck we were for the last 6-7 weeks or whatever it's been.
But before we
Because
get there,
I think that's like a
the
point.
other side of that point too is that the people that are on the internet that are the loudest talking about something are probably people that failed at actually doing it. Right? That's like a trend that I seem to notice. Like there are a lot of people that are good at what they do and they have like a pretty good social media following and presence. But a lot of the people, like your exact point, that are doing the thing and they're doing it well, they're too busy doing the thing to talk about doing the thing. So the people that are the loudest talking about the thing, and I want to name drop this so badly. And with very little context, you'll know who I'm talking about. There's this guy that talked about doing the thing, and the thing that he was doing was in the Epstein files.
Oh, what?
Peter Attia, dude.
Well, Tia, dude, jump in. Oh, all any pedos are fair game here. We'll talk shit. And look, I just need to forewarn people. Like, you know how there's that saying, if I win the lottery, I won't tell anyone, but there'll be signs.
Right.
Yeah, just know that it'll be when we start naming names. When we start like just know that me and Jay are on the other side of it. But yeah, no, that was fucked up. That was 100. That happened. The last fuck. That's crazy. We haven't talked about that.
We haven't talked about that.
Too busy doing the thing.
Yeah, too busy doing the thing. But that's like, I don't know. That's like a very like outlier case of what I'm talking about. But like the people that are doing the thing and good at doing the thing, they have values, and those values typically don't align with the values that it takes to gain social media clout, or like want to pursue that more so than the thing that they're actually doing. And this is like a very real world case of someone like pursuing whatever you might call it, fame, fortune, getting in with the who's who and ending up in the Epstein files.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about in-person work, because that is like the divide, right? Like doing it live, like doing it in person, actually like practicing in our case. And I heard something interesting that Tia had never finished his residency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. This is
which
all
is hilarious
like,
to me because I know so many people operating in the digital space in the realm of manual therapy, touting their credential that have never actually done it, whether or not passed a national board exam or actually worked a day in their life with people one-on-one. So
Yes.
it is interesting because here's the thing. Here's where I think this matters. Values in real life have an immediate feedback loop. Like that's the big difference, right? The feedback, the delay in the feedback loop, because we cut this, we don't edit shit clearly. But like there's an opportunity given the medium to cut and edit and polish and use whatever GIFs and overlays and animations and text on screen and contextualize further given your captions that you write or whatever. And so it allows you to circumvent the immediacy of that feedback loop. So you actually just don't learn as fast, which is what I love about actually doing what we do in real life, whether that's coaching, whether that's treating, programming, whatever, is the feedback loop is immediate. You learn so much faster, right? Which is why I think that you need to be like an athlete or something to be a good coach? No. Do I think you're further ahead if you have been? Yes, because you've learned more, right? And at a certain point in your learning journey, call it life, certain point in your life, if you keep learning, you learn how to learn faster. And I think one of the things that, it's a byproduct of just liking what we do. Like, I think that's what ultimately what does it for me. But a byproduct of like showing up, like, hey, we need to record 7 weeks worth of podcasts. So because we're going to fuck off and actually go do the thing for 7 weeks straight for 20 hours a day, right? And you live it every day, right? Like you're always doing the thing. And it's just so important to the learning process because your feedback loop, given your value structure, gets acid tests in real time, right? Like I'm sure you've sent. Now the thing is, and just to take a sidebar, I commend Epstein on being able to send that many emails.
Man, he must have been on his computer nonstop.
That's a lot. It's almost like, how do you have time to be a pedophile and send that many emails?
Oh my god. Yeah, dude, it's nuts.
Right?
That's
crazy,
that was like
bro. I hire
so
people that. No shit. Yeah, he's sitting there. There's a lag.
He's been diddling kids for a long time. He was, at least.
That's crazy, dog. That is what a weird thing to say, man. The conspiracy theory. The craziest one, and I don't want to belabor this, is just the fact that people still think he's alive. Have you seen that one? There's like pictures surfacing of like a guy who looks like him.
Yeah, living like Israel or something.
Or something. Wait, a nice addition of the or something to cover your ass. I don't know. People say things.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not the podcast for that.
No.
I can't. This is the exact depth of my fucks that I obviously care if terrible things happen. Disclaimer. But like, I know people who have ruined their life by adopting this story.
Like going down the rabbit hole of the conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Like just ain't got time for that. So.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Out of all the things that interest me, this is one that interests me more than it probably should. Just because.
Oh wow! Okay.
Just because of like the implications of if the president of the United States gets convicted on some charges, like and they've been covering up this long, like there's some serious backlash less consequences connected to this one. So I'm tuned in. But yeah, that's pretty far from where we're going to go today.
Yeah, that's your con. I mean, to pull on that thread a little bit more, midterm elections are coming up, and there's a very straight line to impeachment. Like, it's not unlikely if Congress goes a certain way that you're looking at another Nixon. But it's definitely, I am a crook. I am a crook. He's definitely not getting away with this one. But yeah, sidebar L3. Let's transition gears into like talking about the thing that we actually do. So PSL3 ran from, we had 6 classes back to back, which is crazy. I didn't think we were going to, that was our goal for like 2028, if I'm not mistaken.
What do we start with? 3?
We were able to get
3.
Yeah. So we opened it up for the first 3 weeks of January and we sold it out like Taylor Swift tickets, which was nuts.
Yeah.
I remember I was driving a U-Haul from San Francisco to Toronto the day that L3 went for sale. And, I think email went out at 9 a.m. And I want to say by 10 after 9, if that, we had all, first 3 weeks, probably 5, 7, and 7. So we had 7 is 14 and 5 is 19. We had 19 seats sold in the first 10 minutes. And then there was like the very real question of like, okay, like, do we want to push into another week? And so I was literally just like, at this point, I was down some fucking country road somewhere in the middle of southern Wyoming, or I think it was actually south of Wyoming. And I was texting Yo, I'm like, hey, just sold out. Should we push into another week? Now, for those of you unfamiliar, Yo Murphy runs Yo Murphy Performance, who partners with us in L3. So Prescript Level 3 is a week-long, I mean, I'm remiss to call it a course, but I guess for lack of better term, that's what we're calling it. What do you call it?
It's an experience, man. Like, I think on both sides of it, like as people that come out, as people that are there to orchestrate the whole thing, like it's an experience. Yeah.
So the mechanics of L3 are obviously you go through L1 and L2. It's like 16 weeks and 12-week applied biomechanics. And then it's like, okay, because the biggest thing is when we started this company was like, we want to make sure people can actually do the thing. Because training, albeit largely existing on the internet through talking heads with podcasts and Instagram accounts and TikToks and whatever, is still like a thing that happens live. But until we are completely uploaded into the cloud and we just have digital avatars that we can manipulate, by a press of a button, like the training still has to be done at the level of in-person physical exertion, right? So the thing that we wanted to, and I always attribute Pat Davidson for like this analogy because I love it. It's like training is a trade, it's a craft, right? It's like plumbing, right? I wouldn't want a plumber who's just plumbed. I don't even know if that's the right word. Plumbed on the internet, right? Like you have to actually show up and rattle the pipes a little bit. So it's like training is very similar. So we were, for the longest time, as we had L1 and then L2, L3 was always meant to be like, can you do the thing live? And so what we do is the NFL Combine, which by the time this podcast releases will have come and gone, is probably one of the more interesting projects to train for, right? Like the Combine is like CrossFit Games for football players, essentially.
Yeah,
right.
That's what it is.
It's like this event that has these events that have, they're adjacent to football, but they're really like physical evaluations of, and there's a lot of misconception around the utility of it. The utility is, will you do what we tell you to do? Like that to me is the whole Combine, right? Like it's nothing more than that. Like if I look at a bench press and I look at the mechanics of that in football, like I know guys who can bench really big that can play football really well. I know guys who can't bench big that can play or can't. Like there's just it's an inconsequential variable and a lot of the time. But it's not inconsequential if a bunch of guys with billions of dollars go, hey, we're going to give you tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. We want you to do this. And we want to see if you will do it. Like that's a pretty good high level descriptor of the utility of the Combine, in my opinion, is like, this is what we've decided upon that needs to be done. And we cut the checks. So have at it. I think that's a pretty good way to look at the utility of the Combine. So what'll happen is there's, I think 300 and something, it's like 317 players get invited to the Combine, if I'm not mistaken. So you have NCAA Division I football players coming out of the top programs in the country. So we're looking at Alabama, Clemson, Michigan State, FSU. I'm trying to think of University of Michigan. Ohio State was a big one. Miami, Oklahoma. So all the pedigree schools. And then players are drafted, players are like kind of pre-selected and ranked based off of their college careers. And what'll happen is when they finish their college careers, their next hurdle is the Combine. Is if they're draft eligible and they announce their eligibility for the draft, that they want to go and will be selected and will go to whatever team picks them. They will go to this event in Indianapolis where they will be tested on these physical events. A 40-yard dash, broad jump, vertical jump, bench press test, 5, 10, 5, L drill, etc. And then when they finish their last game with their team, their sole focus becomes, I need to train to impress the scouts at this event. What agents do is agents will hire a small handful of organizations to train these players. And so you get like a smorgasbord, right? Like we have players at L3, at YMP or Yo Murphy Performance that come from the above listed schools. University of Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Michigan State, Oregon, ... The list goes on. And so these players will converge at a facility in Tampa Bay at Yo Murphy Performance where Prescript L3, level 3 is held. And Prescript L2 students, which are there for L3, will actually train these athletes to prepare for the Combine, i.e. the biggest job interview of their life. So what we do is we oversee that. So Jay and I were out in Tampa, Florida for the last 6 to 7 weeks, overseeing the simultaneous Combine training / L3. So what happens is every Monday, an L3 class shows up, 5 to 7 coaches, highly exclusive. And those 5 to 7 coaches will work hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with the best college athletes on the planet. So this year, it was just insane. Like the best athletes on the planet. And they will kind of prove their problem-solving skills they've both learned throughout their career and through L1 and L2, and that they can actually do the thing live. Like that's the whole point, right? Like there's no, one of the questions I get all the time is there a test? It's like, yeah, every second of every day is a test. Seriously. Right? Like you have kids who, and this is what makes things a lot interesting now. These kids are making money. Yeah. This is different than when I started doing combine training, God knows how many years ago. These kids, so you have kids that are 21, 22 years old, some even younger, 20, and they're coming in and you have to earn their trust, keep their attention, and get them to do the thing that, most of them are pretty dialed in, but there's a couple that, maybe might not want to do what you're asking them to do. And you need to do that in a way that's professional. And, oh yeah, you just met this person. It's like, yeah, that's what the job is, right? Yeah. So that's where we've been in a nutshell. I'm curious, kind of your take on L3 this year. What do you think, like from a takeaway perspective at the level of a student? What do you think are like the big takeaways, and maybe how has that changed like year over year? All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break from today's episode and talk about Prescript Level 1. PSL1 course is a fully accredited continuing education course that focuses on applied biomechanics and functional anatomy with CEUs offered from NASM, NSCA, American Council for Exercise, but if you're a chiropractor as well, it's also accredited through the NBCE, National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. So if you're looking to add problem-solving solutions to your toolbox and want to learn more about applied biomechanics and functional anatomy, the PSL1 course is for you. Registration is currently live at www.pre-script.com/PSL1. All right, back to the show.
Yeah, it is interesting because like the one thing, you'll say this like multiple times in every class that comes in of the L3 is that when you're training in your gym with your clients, you're training with people that like you and have decided that they want you to be their guy. And you walk into this room, these people don't know you. They have some familiarity with the t-shirt that you're wearing because Yo tells them that there's some sort of authority that comes with that, but they don't know you and they don't necessarily like you. And they might not even want to be there. Like, I don't know what they were out doing last night or where, some of these guys like, and not even to like disparage like that, but like they're coming off injuries. They've been passed around strength and conditioning coaches, ATs, PTs, whoever the hell. And everyone's giving them different advice. And a lot of them, like, they're athletes. Like you said, the test of the combine is to see if you're going to do what we tell you to do. And athletes, they kind of do that. They have their position of authority, which in this case is Yo Murphy, and they do what Yo Murphy tells them to do. So there is a bit of buy-in around that, but some of these people, they're so disengaged. I know week 1 when I was there, there's like a player that his friends went to a different like training facility and he was all bummed out and like he was pretty hard to engage. And there's just all these different personalities that you have to deal with. They don't know you. They don't like you. You need to be able to establish some sort of relationship with them, some sort of trust in very short order. And like, that's, I think, one of the most challenging parts of this experience. And then aside from that, you don't know what's going on in terms of kind of the arc of the trajectory of these athletes' performance and recovery and injuries that are going on. So that's something that like, there's a plan going into it. Every session, every workout, every cool down, every building blocks, like there's a plan going into it. But it's very, very rare that things are going to go according to that plan. So the things that I think are the most valuable takeaways from this experience is learning to be an authority in a room where you don't know anyone, you don't have any sort of background. Maybe you know who the players are and you've done a little bit of research, but like you have to learn how to build trust and be an authority in very short order. And it's not an easy skill, especially in a room where some of these kids are making millions of dollars already. Like they have, with reason, like a little bit of an ego. They have a little bit of an attitude. Like they know their worth in that room, I guess is a good way to put it. Like there's rankings on a website that tell them their worth in that room. And like some of them, like you can see that more than others. And like there's a bunch of different personalities that you're going to have to deal with, but that's the challenge in this, is being able to go in a room with 30 different personalities and be able to get attention, keep attention, get results. More importantly than anything else, get results. Like it's not necessarily about being friends or like, having conversation. It's about getting results. And the way to get results, it has to be through getting trust. Like there's no way you can make your way around that. Like they don't have to like you, but if they trust you and you're doing good for them, then like that's what matters most. And we've seen that like year over year. People that will say like, you didn't say a word to me for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks. But every time I walked in the gym, he grabbed me, or every time he walked in the gym, he grabbed me. And it's like, there's these things that like, there will be signs, but it's not the signs that you want. And it's not the appreciation that you want that trainers will typically get from their client roster or from the people that like them and hire them because they like them. But it's about doing a good job and understanding how to get results, devoid that positive feedback, because you're probably not going to fucking get it. And I think that's probably one of the most valuable things that comes from this experience on the coach's side for the level 3.
Yeah, Yo said something really interesting at the beginning of one of the weeks to the L3 students. And he's like, because the thing that the student has to realize is where they're picking up that athlete in the succession of this program, right? Like week one, everyone's coming in, everyone gets a little bit like, oh, hey, great to meet you. Like but by the time week 4 hits, you're the 4th set of faces. Now, again, they're used to having a parade of new faces. Shit, with transfer portal, they may not even recognize people on their own team, right? And that'll be even more true when they make it to the NFL. But Yo said something to the effect of the strength of your relationship relies on the impact that you make, period. Right. Yeah. So like that is like, if I can do a good job and, hey, I see something, I intervene, and the adjustment makes an immediate difference in the way that person feels, great. That relationship is formed, right? Nothing needs to be said. And look, and I tell these students, like, look, when you come in, you might have the very experience that you had, where like guy doesn't say literally a word to you for a week other than like, hey, are you free? Right? Hey, are you free means there's other people here who are available. I want you to be available because I trust the thing that you're doing. When you see these guys years later, like they'll remember you. And we see this a lot. The nice part about Combine is it superimposes pretty much the end of the NFL season right through the playoffs and Super Bowl. So we'll have previous athletes who have gone into the league come back. And one of the nice things is we have, in a lot of cases, former L3 students come back and assist with teaching the L3, which is a lot of fun because they get to see that full circle moment where someone that they worked with in their combine comes back to the facility, sees that person who was only there for a week and goes, oh, hey, I remember you, like, thanks. And like has this dialogue. Because like, I think one of the things that can be hard to respect is how much pressure they're under, right? Like, have you ever, I mean, I know you have, and I know I have, but like, I don't think people understand the stress that goes into a pending job interview where like the bag is on offer, right? Like it's like a fairly stressful scenario of like, oh, if I do this thing well, my life will change. And then in this case, the life of everyone around them, right? So there's a lot that goes into processing that as a 20-year-old, right? Like it's just, I think we lose sight of the fact that none of these kids' brains are fully formed. Right. They still got another 5 years before the whole, like, which is a crazy, and that's not disparaging. That's just basic neuroscience and neurophysiological development. And so there's that component to it. But I think like the adaptability piece is, if you want to further your career, you have to understand that your career, and I think this gets back and forth on either side of the aisle. Your career is based off of your ability to achieve a desired result, right? Like, I put myself behind the 8 ball walking into a room looking the way I look. Like, I understand that the tattoos on my head or on my neck or on my hands do not serve me a leg up in most scenarios. But if you have a record and an ability to get results quickly, that's what people are hiring you for, right? And more so at the level where things matter, right? Not to say that like having clients day to day doesn't matter, and obviously like trainers and coaches and chiropractors and physical therapists all have an impact day to day. But if you really want to, make a move in your career, that move will be predicated on your ability to get results. Like if you want to get another 5 more clients online, sure, likability will be a great, not to say that results won't, but like there is an echelon of this industry that is accessible only to those that can get results, right? And getting results in spite of all of the niceties of your day to day. Like, oh yeah, then my clients get great results. Like, right, because they like you.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you and I have walked into situations where day to day you are uncertain of whether or not someone likes you.
Yeah.
But you're still there. And if you're still there, that means there's a utility. And that's so at the end of the day, like people will, I think, in my opinion, and I could be swayed either way, but in my career, the opportunities I've gotten I've received have come on the backs of me being able to do the thing. Personality, interpersonal stuff, I mean, that's come and gone. But being able to get a result in spite of that, like that's the thing that actually builds that connection for you, right? Not the other way around. Like you can't like someone into results. You can result someone into liking you.
Right. And I mean, it's funny because I had this thought just literally the other day is that likability has nothing to do with the equation, right? Like maybe that trust, that buy-in, it's there a bit more, but the more someone likes you, there's going to be a portion of it. And there's a specific like type of trainer or therapist that I'm thinking about that like part of that is agreeability, right? Like if you're just feeding into, oh yeah, like you like to do this, like let's do that. Like, yeah, good, thumbs up. And like, if someone likes you, they're not going to judge you as harshly on your shortcomings, right? So I find it more impactful for people that have clients that don't necessarily like them. And not necessarily on a personality standpoint, but like you'll have these clients that are like, oh fuck, like we have to do this, and like they buy into it and they do it because they know that you have their best interests at heart. And a lot of times what's best for someone is not something they want to do or not something that they like to do. So for you to be good at your job, you need to be able to disagree with someone, communicate that effectively, and be able to have actionable items that get results because of that. Like that's the differentiator between someone who facilitates a workout and someone who coaches an athlete or coaches a client or runs a successful rehab program, is that I have to tell you that what your predispositions to think about this are wrong because you're not in my shoes. If you were, you wouldn't need me. You need me because your understanding of this is incomplete and you don't have the full context. And I'm the one that has that. And I'm going to tell you what I think is best for you. And it's probably different than what you want to do or what you think is best for you. But that's why I get results. And I'm confident in that. And I'm going to stand on that because I know from my decade plus of experience that I can get results doing this. And you have an emotional attachment to the situation, which is like you being in your body and feeling the way you feel. But I don't give a fuck about how you feel. I give a fuck if you get results, period. Like that's what it is being in this position. It's not like, and there is that disarming part of it that you have to have. You can't say that to clients. Some of them you can, but most of them you can't. And you have to be able to approach them in a way where you're building trust that's going to allow you the freedom to do things with that person that they don't want to do because they trust that you have their best interests at heart. And that's like how it all kind of comes together. So if you can't build that trust or get that buy-in from them, you're not going to get those results because you're just going to be agreeable and they're going to like you and they're never going to have progress.
Yeah. There's a part of this industry that's just insanely profitable. And it's the part that's on the other side of that skill set, right? Like there are people, athletes, etc., that are so efficient and usually so good at what they do, and they understand that the route to being successful in their domain is through this very thing, right? Like, if you think about like a class may be the wrong way to word it, but no, like a certain class or status of client, and think about how they got to, I mean, we'll stick with pro athletes because it's kind of what we're talking about. Like, they got there by doing what it takes, right? Not by doing what feels good, not by just having a bunch of people around that like them, like by doing what it takes and making hard decisions. And like, they're appraising someone in every role, like in every role. Like, I doubt he listens. I haven't been on a call with our accountant in I don't know how long. I would laugh hilarious. Like, if he watched this podcast and like emailed us later, but it's like, I don't know. I've talked to him once. I'm like, yo, Jay, I can't. But like, we're not in jail. So like, shout out this guy, and we're cutting the checks. So it's like, when we look at the business, we go, oh, like, would I have a beer? Well, I don't drink, but like, our accountant has, like, I have no interpersonal feeling. I don't even know his last name. I don't, but it's like, we're not, my object. Hey, Jay, are we going to get audited and go to prison? Not yet. Okay, great. I love our accountant. Don't know his last name. Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, a lot of people, when they look at like different aspects of their life, training, and it can be hard to understand what training doesn't mean to people. Right. Like, we train, like, I love the sort of the ceremonious nature of the habit or the ritual of going to the gym or a gym, right? I like that it structures my nutrition, it structures my sleep, it allows me to listen to music for like an hour uninterrupted most days, which I love. And if I'm not training, I don't have that, right? So like, but most people give a fuck. Most people go because the doctor told them if they don't, they're going to die, right? Or, there's some sort of, they don't love the whole ritual of it the way we do. And you're part of that apparatus that they do not love, right? But if you can results in that environment, it shows that like you can stand on what you know, right? And I think that's the best part about that is you can actually harbor through results an environment where people do start to love the process of it. Right. But the only way you're going to do that is if you can actually stand on what you know and not stand on what they don't, which is like a lot of times where people go, and I think that's the big takeaway I try and push into L3 is like, okay, you're going to go back and you're going to have consults or opportunities with people. You guys know how to do this. Stand on what you know, and that will be recognized by other high achievers. Right. Like, oh, right. I see this. Like, I don't like my accountant, but he does a good job. And, he approaches things with a certain level of ownership and professionalism and experience where I go, I don't know. Sure. I guess, whatever. And we pay our taxes and then we're off to the races. Yeah. Where it's like the people in higher up positions who are going to, pay more, provide more opportunity, they're looking at you that way. Right. So I think a lot of people, they don't know how much they know. So they default to this sort of sycophantic, I hope everyone likes me type situation. And we throw them off to the wolves and we go, okay, now that's not a card you can play.
Yeah.
Just do your job and do it really well. And then that'll open up the opportunities to be way more confident. Like I tell people, it's the hardest room to coach in. And for me, the same. And I've been doing, this is my 6th consecutive year, but I've been in and out of combine. My first combine was in 2013. So like my 13th year doing it. And it is habitually the most difficult room to train in for that reason. But the more I'm in that room and the more I get exposure to it, the more my career in between January to January on that side of things becomes that much easier to navigate. It's like, okay, like every room I walk in, like, who are you? Like not respectfully, but like sometimes like, okay, that's great. I'm here for a reason. Yeah. What do we need done? Oh, great. Yeah, I can do that. Here's a laundry list of times where I've done this in the past. Here's how we're going to do this for you. Great. Yeah. Relationship that will come on the heels of me doing what I'm here to do.
Yeah. And that's I mean, I think probably the most impactful takeaway from this entire experience for the people that take the course, myself included, is it is the confidence that comes from it. Because you walk into a room with, I don't know, 15 to 30 bodies. Each of those has a laundry list of injuries that, I don't know, maybe maybe you have context on some, maybe you don't. And each of those has like a certain personality type that you need to deal with. And then you need to move in between each of these 30 bodies in like a fluid way. And you also don't know what you're doing with any of them until you're actually doing it. Like being thrown into a situation like that, like even the most complex case of one-on-one working with someone is so much easier. It makes it so much easier. And the confidence that you get from being in such a chaotic environment, and also realizing that you have the skill set to be able to handle it, that's the like biggest takeaway from this course, is the confidence that you can get from that like you said, that's anything you do after that is going to be so much easier. Like if you're overloaded on clients, you feel like you have a stressful day of like, you have maybe 8-9 sessions of one-on-one a day, or maybe a group session at the end of it. And then you go into this environment, you're like, oh, this is the most chaos I've ever been in professionally. And I did just fine because I have the skill set and I rose to the occasion. You take that confidence back, you're Monday through Fridays chilling. It's easy now. So I'd say that's like the most impactful side of this that I've seen people take away, is that like, yeah, you get exposure to new styles of training, kind of different methodologies, different like an understanding on athletic training, which I think a lot of people run with. But I think it's the confidence in the skill set that you already possess. That's the real takeaway from the level 3.
Yeah, I mean, and look, in the last 2 weeks, we've seen L3 students. Dylan Hines, strength coach for Ottawa Roughnecks CFL. So he was our first L3 class. So he's taken that and now gone to the professional level. Eric Miller, shout out Eric Miller, shout out Dylan Hines, but Eric Miller, part of the Baltimore Orioles organization. And it's like, and the thing is, and I'll close on this, is like, it's not about training pro athletes, right? It's about becoming a professional. Like, that's the thing that you need to focus on, because like, granted, these two examples are in pro sports, but there are opportunities in dealing with professionals outside of just athletics that are plentiful, that when you realize, like, I trained a client this week who I've trained in the past. We've both worked with her in 2 gyms that I've never been to before. Walked in and I was like, I don't know what equipment they have. I don't even know where the gyms were. And you just kind of show up and you go, oh, okay. Like, and it's, I think of walking into that scenario 5 years ago and not having L3. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I would have showed up like an hour early. I would have like scoped it out online. I would have like called. Now I'm like, no, I'm good. It's a gym. Okay. Gym. Cool. Yeah. I work in gyms. That's my gym. I don't know what's in it. I don't know the floor space, but I know I'll figure it out. I was working with an NFL offseason guy during L3, and I had this whole workout planned, and I've realized it was Wednesday and there was a yoga going on in the main gym. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Jeez. I can't do it. So I took what I could. So there's a warehouse next door. So I took 2 35-pound dumbbells, an 18-inch box, and a TRX strap. And I did an hour and 15-minute workout with that. And I was like, okay, all right. I guess all the weights and cables and all the things I wanted to do, we can't use because there's a yoga thing going on. I need to go over here with what I could carry in my hand, not look like I'm not just making this up on the fly, which I am. And, at the end of it, dab up, great job. All right, whew. Dodged a bullet there. Now, again, without the experience of L3, that would have been like, oh, fuck, give me 5 minutes. Like, you don't have 5 minutes, man. Like, you don't. Like, you just got to fucking do the thing. But anyways, that being said, the road to L3 starts with L1. PSL1 next semester is currently live for sale at www.pre-script.com. It's on the homepage. You can register now. Class starts, March, late March.
Yeah, that's
the end of March. But anyways, guys, appreciate it. If any of you former L3 students are listening, we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. Hopefully we did it justice in recapping your experience. Super proud of everyone's performance this year. A particularly strong group. Was impressed week over week with the professionalism, the acumen, the ability to adapt. So really, really happy to see that. Looking forward to next year's.